Okay, let's be honest. Creating the perfect scientific figure, it can be one of the most time-consuming, frustrating parts of doing research. But what if AI could just change all of that? Well, in this explainer, we're going to dive into how artificial intelligence is totally revolutionizing scientific illustrations, basically turning a tedious, manual task into automated art.
So, here's our game plan for today. First up, we're going to break down the big problem with scientific illustrations. You know the one. Then, we'll see how AI is stepping in to save the day. After that, we'll take a tour of the most promising tools out there, and I'll give you a simple framework for choosing the right one for you. And to wrap it all up, we'll take a peek into the future of scientific visualization. It's going to be good.
All right, let's kick things off. Section 1, the research illustration problem. We're going to start with the challenges that, let's face it, are probably all too familiar to anyone who's ever written a paper.
Seriously, just take a second and think about this. How many hours, have you lost? Tweaking labels, adjusting colors, resizing plots over and over again, just to meet some journal's incredibly specific guidelines? It's a huge pain point, and pretty much every researcher has felt it.
Yeah, this slide really hits the nail on the head. Traditionally, you had to become a master of some super complex software, right? Like Adobe Illustrator or Origin Lab. That's a huge time sink right there. And on top of that, you're constantly battling to make sure everything is accurate and consistent across all your figures. And then the journal guidelines. Every single one has its own unique and usually incredibly strict set of rules.
Okay, but now for the exciting part. Section 2. AI enters the lab. This is where everything starts to change. We're talking about a real revolution in how we visualize research.
Just look at this number, 3.1 million. That's insane. That's the number of AI-related research papers published between 1960 and 2021, and there's been a massive, massive surge in just the last few years. So this isn't some niche, futuristic trend. AI is already in the lab. It's here now, and it's fundamentally changing how science actually gets done.
So, why should you even consider making the switch to AI for your figures? Well, this slide lays it all out pretty clearly. First off, you're going to save a ton of time. They help ensure scientific accuracy and reproducibility. They can automatically turn your messy datasets into clean charts. They can even help you meet those super specific journal formatting requirements. But I think the biggest thing is this. They make professional-level design accessible to every researcher, not just the ones who happen to also be amazing graphic designers. Okay, so let's say you're convinced. The benefits are obvious. But where do you even start? There are so many tools popping up. Well, that's what this next section is all about. We're going to take a tour of the tools, and I'll break them down into a few main types to give you a clear map of the whole landscape.
You can basically group most of these tools into a few key categories. First up, you've got your all-rounders, like Illustrae. Think of these as the versatile workhorses of the group. They're built to handle pretty much anything you can throw at them, from raw data all the way to complex diagrams. Then you have the data specialists, like FigDraw. These are the heavy lifters, right? They're the powerhouses designed specifically for enormous, complex datasets, and they often plug directly into coding environments like R and Python.
And it doesn't stop there. We've got two more really fascinating types. First are the concept generators, like Drawbot Science. Now this is cool. These use generative AI, which means you can literally just describe the figure you want in plain English, and it'll create a draft for you. It's amazing for brainstorming or putting together grant proposals. And finally, you have the formatting assistants, like SciSpace. Think of these as your final quality check. They take the figures you've already made and make sure they are absolutely perfect for your target journal, catching any little errors before you hit submit.
This chart gives you a really nice at-a-glance overview of some of the top players in the game right now. You'll see highly specialized tools like BioRender AI, which is fantastic for life sciences diagrams, or Smart Figures AI for medical imaging and microscopy. Then you've got more general-purpose tools like Mind the Graph, which is great for infographics and posters. And what's really important to look at is that final column. The pricing models are all over the place, from subscriptions to pay-per-use, and a lot of them have free tiers or big academic discounts. So there's almost certainly an option that fits your budget.
So that brings us to the million-dollar question, right? With all these options, how in the world do you choose the right one for your specific work? Well, that's exactly what we're tackling in our next section. We're going to build a simple framework to help you find your perfect AI assistant.
Think of this slide as your personal checklist for finding the perfect tool. Let's walk through it together. First, step 1, define what kind of figure you're actually making. Is it a chart from data, a conceptual diagram, or are you just enhancing an image? Step 2 is to really assess what you need from the AI. Do you want full automation where it does everything, or just some smart suggestions and a little formatting help? Next, step 3, check the customization. Can you actually get in there and fine-tune the output so it looks exactly how you want it to? Now for the really important practical stuff. Step 4, and this is a big one, verify the data security. Make sure the platform is compliant with your institution's privacy policies. Step 5, of course, is to consider your budget. Look for those free tiers, academic licenses, or at least a trial you can play with. And finally, step 6, double-check that the tool can export in the formats your target journal requires. We're talking about things like a 300 or 600 dpi TIFF or an EPS file. You don't want to get to the end and find out it can't deliver.
All right, let's wrap things up by looking ahead, because this technology is moving at an absolutely incredible pace. So for our final section, let's explore the future of visualization and try to imagine where AI is going to take science next.
I love this quote because it really captures the bigger picture here. We're moving beyond just using AI as a tool to make things. The next real frontier is AI as a partner in interpretation. Imagine an AI that doesn't just plot your data, but actually suggests new ways to visualize it, ways that might reveal insights you hadn't even thought of. And that's how we make complex science more accessible to absolutely everyone.
So what does this future actually look like in practice? Well, just imagine even greater automation, where figures are generated for you, like directly from your electronic lab notebook as you're taking notes. Picture this: seamless support for creating interactive 3D models that you can spin around and explore, instead of just flat, static images. It's all moving toward a future where scientific communication isn't just faster, it's also more transparent, more engaging, and way more reproducible than it has ever been before.
And that brings us to one final big question. Will your next research partner be an AI? You know, based on everything we've talked about today, that partnership isn't some distant sci-fi possibility anymore. For a lot of researchers, it's quickly becoming an absolutely essential part of doing smarter, faster, and more impactful science. I really hope this gave you a clear map of this exciting new landscape. Thanks so much for joining me.